Hello and welcome on this Tuesday night to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series at the Daytona International Speedway. Our second set of races on the week. We've got a packed house this week. I am Austin Edstrom with Brian Britt in the booth. Austin Derbyshire behind the cameras tonight. We've got a fun one on board for you here tonight. The Champion Power Equipment Truck Series always puts on an absolute banger of a show. Every race this season has been absolutely insane, and you got to think Daytona is going to be very similar.
Oh yeah, I definitely 100% agree. I mean, we saw a really awesome race at Talladega where Jason Taylor, I think, was able to bring home his first dub ever in this series. I wouldn't be surprised he'd be strong in this race too, Austin. This is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, this one's going to be absolutely wide open as we take a look at the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series standings. Keegan Sevilla grabbed the win last week. Sorry, it was 2 weeks ago at Michigan that he grabbed the win. Able to take the points lead. Actually lost 1 point to Andrew Hale. It's been tight at the top the last couple weeks. Jason Taylor not too far behind, riding that Talladega victory. Brian Lorenzo in fourth. James Harris in fifth. Has not found victory lane yet this season, but we don't have any repeat winners yet.
Yeah, definitely curious to see if this maybe could be tonight. I mean, the repeat winner. We'll have to see, though, as we take a very interesting Google Earth look at Talladega International Speedway. Love this. This is new.
First time seeing it.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, we are in the next generation of broadcasting right now.
Yeah, look at that. The arrow's just about on the turn the whole way through. 31 degrees. Going down to a 3-degree back straightaway. Basically negligible. You don't even feel that. Then going back up on the high banks, 3 and 4. Back up to that 31 degree, coming back down. Coming off of 4 to the start finish right in the middle of the trioval here at Daytona International Speedway. You know we're in for a heck of a race every time we come here to Daytona, and this is not going to be any different here on this Tuesday night.
I totally agree. Now, I do believe we got, of course, my keys to victory here. Definitely interested to look at some of these. Of course, first key is going to be pretty much finding your dancing partner. Second key, of course, is don't push the pusher. Third key, of course, is going to be learning how to call an audible, which actually I was
I think
reminded of what that actually meant before the broadcast. That is a football term of kind of, if you make a plan, be willing to change that plan, because Daytona is an unpredictable racetrack.
Yeah, it definitely is, as is our new software here we're using. Yeah. Second night using it. We're still figuring it out a little bit. We're going to go straight over to broadcast picks, which we assume are going to work here tonight. We're just going to wait and see. Andrew Hale in the 4. That's who I've got. He pushed his teammate Jason Taylor to the victory at Talladega 3 weeks ago. I think that he's going to switch it around and bring it home in the victory lane here at the end of the night.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. Of course, my pick is going to be James Harris tonight. He's had a lot of bad luck over this season, but I think tonight he is highly motivated, and we'll talk about that a little bit more why later. And, of course, our producer's pick is Tyler Meeks in the 7 machine.
Yeah, Meeks was up front at the end of that Talladega race, was on the outside of the racetrack, pushing Heath Snyder, trying to maybe give Heath Snyder the win, but through the trial, they got a little disconnected. Meeks was maybe going for the pass on the victory on the outside. Pulled out relatively late. Heath Snyder threw a pretty bad block coming through the tri-oval, and Heath went absolutely flying. So we know that that the 7 of Tyler Meeks has really good speed here, and he's got an opportunity with the super speedways coming up. Shown really good speed all year, just hasn't been able to put it up into the top 5. Got a good opportunity here at Daytona. But we're going to jump right into the schedule of this upcoming week. We kind of been talking about Daytona. That's all we've been getting, and it's all you're going to get this week. Obviously, yesterday kicked off the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split. It's going to look very similar here on this Friday, because it's going to be the Ryco Performance Friday Night NIS Top Split. Can't wait to get the NIS season started off right here this Friday night. You know that SOF is going to be absolutely huge. The Daytona 500 on iRacing this Friday night on Grid Vision.
Yeah, I can't imagine how nuts that's going to be. I mean, 500 miles? Oh, man.
It's a tough journey. I know that obviously we just got done with the 24-hour of Daytona just a couple weeks ago, and that's obviously a really tough ask out of anybody. But you do get some driver switches. Most of the time people aren't running 4 hours, and I feel like the iRacing Daytona 500 can stretch out to 4.5, 5 hours. Now, I have seen some people do the 24 and go all the way 24 by themselves. Those people are absolute madmen. But
yeah,
I feel like, I don't know, the ovals are weird. It's more of like a mental strength, especially with the super speedway stuff. You're inches apart from everybody for the entirety. One little mistake can absolutely end your day. And it just being the biggest race of the year, especially on iRacing where you may only get one opportunity to do it, it's just very, very important. But we're going to jump straight into our starting grid here as we're starting to grid up to start race number 6 here on the season. Starting on the pole is going to be James Harris with George Young in second place. Qualifying not too far behind. Brandon Ball in third. Keegan Sabilo in fourth. Andrew Hale in fifth place with Jason Taylor in sixth. Nathan Meyer in seventh. Tyler Meeks in eighth. EJ DeBoer in ninth. And John Lucido rounds out the top 10.
William Mann Jr. is going to be starting in 11th place. Ray Kennison is in 12th. Brad Thacker's in 13th. Larry Fairman in 14th. Dan Hillewig is in 15th. Jeff No 16th. And Robert Wynn rounds out this 17-car field. Having a little bit of issues with our starting grid here, but of course the way we just called it out is how we're going to be starting. I do want to talk about our pole sitter, James Harris. He is rocking a little bit of a different paint scheme than he usually runs. Of course, he does have Green Mountain pellet grills or Green Mountain grills on the front end of that thing, but his truck bed is representing a person that recently passed that is very, very close, near and dear to his heart, which is Cheryl. I do believe a Cheryl Roberts. So she recently just passed away. I do believe last week on the weekend from a heart attack, and that is someone that is very near and dear to James Harris. So we do want to offer our condolences to the families and friends of Cheryl and of course James himself. I know he said he's really motivated to get some stuff done here today, and that's why I actually picked him, Austin, because I felt like he wants to do this for her honor and just to kind of like dedicate this race to her. And I've seen people that have done that before and they win the race just because of how motivated and determined they are.
Well, to be fair, we did just see it last week with Nathan Meyer, right?
That's true. Exactly.
He had his dad on the hood there, or sorry, on the deck lid in the Crown Royal Chevy Silverado in the inside of the fourth lane here. And he brought it to victory lane last week at Dover. So it definitely can add a little bit of pep to your step here, putting something like that on your truck and knowing that there's a little bit extra there. So yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see your race prediction come true.
Only bad thing is, though, I gotta to speak against it a little bit, is that starting on the pole usually does not bode well at Daytona. I gotta say, I mean, because track position is not really the biggest thing here, and usually when you're on the pole, of course you're in front of the accident most of the time, but sometimes you're at the mercy of the guy that's pushing you, and if somebody pushes you the wrong way, you're gonna go spinning.
Yeah, he absolutely could, but I feel like he's probably expecting everybody to hold back just a little bit at the beginning of this thing. I mean, it is a relatively quick race. That's fair. They do have a faster pair, right? So they've got something they can fall back on just in case. But to your point, if they do go flipping or blow the motor and can't get back to the to pit road, they do have to take the tow, and that could ruin their night. So I definitely hear what you're saying. I just feel like, to your other point, we have been in this league for a while now, and we know how they race. They're just going to go up here and go for it the entire time.
Oh, yeah, they're going to have fun. I mean, we've seen 4 wide at Talladega not too long ago. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this one.
Coming up to the tri-oval, though, race number 6 of the season of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Through the Geico restart zone, James Harris leads us to the green flag. On the outside, he's got Young in the 48. Pretty even start here between the front 2 rows.
And we're already seeing movement back further in the pack. I saw John Lucido in that 73. He looked like he was getting ready to take those guys 3 wide. He had a really good launch as we're side by side in 3 and 4. George Young going to see if they can possibly get this top line moving on the backstretch. Can they get it going? So far, Harris leads down the backstretch.
Yeah, Harris was leading, but they got disconnected on the bottom of the racetrack. George Young now with a huge push from Keegan Sabilo. And on the outside groove right behind him, the Talladega winner, Jason Taylor, third on the outside line, getting pushed by Tyler Meeks going down into turn number 3. They're hooked up there for 3rd and 4th on the outside line. It looks like Sabilo's getting back to George Young's bumper a little bit better than Brandon Ball is able to get to the bumper of the 55.
Yeah, we had John Lucido switch lanes. He just moved down to the bottom side, so that's going to change up the complexity of the top, but it looks like they still have the momentum up top. It looks like George Young is going to lead the first lap of this race. So very awesome job from Young. Of course, he is another driver I do believe that has yet to win in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Could this be his first time in victory lane? Long way to go before we see it. Of course, fuel window tonight is expected to be about 32 to 35 laps, depending on if you're in the lead or not.
Yeah, you were talking about dance partners and the keys to the race. You got to make sure that you got a dance partner coming down to pit road. You've got to have somebody picked out before the race that you're going to work with. And if not, you just got to piggyback on a big group of guys as soon as they decide to come down and just play it by ear. So it's just being able to be flexible here towards the middle of the race whenever that green flag pit stop comes, because it feels like it happens in most Talladega and Daytona races, right? You get that green flag pit stop that kind of breaks up the field a bit, or you get a caution or a wreck that should be a caution that turns out to not be one, that just kind of separates everybody, and then it becomes a real a kind of strange race towards the end of it where it's just a couple different packs. I feel like if we could see something like that, we might get some green flag strategies come into play.
Yeah, very much so. I'll tell you who's really found their dancing partner, George Young. I mean, him and Sabilo are working together flawlessly. Sabilo, I never expected him to be a super speedway type driver, but he is performing very, very expert level, I'd say, in a lot of ways. One thing, though, if I could have added one more key to the victory, I would have said the fourth key would have been watch your temperatures. Watch your temperature gauge. I would not be surprised to see that 77 is probably climbing pretty high.
Yeah, he's shoving the absolute heck out of that 48. And typically, we know Keegan Sabilo for being somebody that holds back at the beginning of these races and just doesn't really push too hard. He's been pushing like crazy ever since the drop of the green flag, trying to keep the 48 up there. They got down clear to the inside groove. Now the outside groove with Tyler Meeks pushing Jason Taylor. They look really, really strong to the outside. The 15's clear of the 48, getting down to the 3.
It seems like that top line, I think, is the strongest. We've probably seen it here at Daytona, and you know, this is not a surprise. Usually Daytona is a top groove type dominant racetrack. We've seen in real late races in real life that it has always been the top groove that everybody kind of runs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a revolving door of lead changes up there on the top if they stay organized. Now, of course, these guys might not stay organized up there, but as long as they have numbers up there, it's going to be a viable option.
I'm a little bit nervous between the 29 of William Mann Jr. and the 11 of Fairman. It just looks a little nervy there on the outside, 3rd and 4th place coming out of turn number 2 here on the outside groove. They just don't look like they line up very well together. Also, William Mann with Tyler Meeks, it just looks like they're getting kind of out of whack just about every time coming out of these corners. I kind of feel an accent coming from about that area.
Well, we also got to keep in mind that what we can't see is the air that's playing around all these drivers right here. And you know, these guys are dancing around. We talk about finding a dancing partner. Well, this air's dancing around here, Austin.
And I think it's mostly because William Mann Jr. is trying to find air. He's looking out to the outside of the racetrack, keeping the temperatures cool, and it's just kind of offsetting these guys a bunch. Coming down to the corners, he just gets really close to the back bumper of that 7 every time coming into the corner. He's also just the 11 was kind of going a little all over the place behind him. So just, I don't know, I get a little nervy in these plate tracks, man, especially in the trucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, just they're sideways coming out of turn number 2, just about between the 29 and 11. It looks a little nervy on the outside.
It is nerve-wracking. I mean, I remember when I first got on iRacing, this was my bread and butter. I used to love this. Now, I don't know, man. My nerves can't take it. If I get out here, I'd be about to have a heart attack. I'd have a panic attack out here because, I mean, even though a lot of people are like, oh, this is the easiest kind of racing there is, really, it's nerve-wracking. You have to be maintaining so many different variables all around you. I mean, there are cars everywhere around you. There is your temperature. There is make sure you're holding your line. I mean, there is so much that could go wrong so fast, and it just makes your heart beat a little bit harder also.
Yeah, the margins are razor thin. I mean, it's 30 trucks just about most of the time. I know we've got 17 in here tonight, but all packed up, every single truck here on the racetrack, all packed up here in this group, coming down the back straightaway. It's tough, man. There's no room in between these trucks and a lot of times. I know they're giving a little bit more room right now with the outside groove, not quite pinching off the inside, but once we get down to the end of this thing, there's going to be absolutely no room between these trucks. And we've gone through 7 laps so far, and it's been really clean, hard racing. As James Harris jumps to the outside, looking to take the race lead, getting a push from Jason Taylor and Tyler Meeks. It's going to stack up that outside line just a little bit, but it's going to give him a huge slingshot here going down to 1.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to see what his Green Mountain Grill guys can do here in this 55. He moves forward. Looks like Taylor not quite sure about pushing the 55. We saw that Taylor was really good at accepting pushes We have not seen him really be able to push those. So this is kind of a curious thing. But it looks like he is doing an adequate enough job to get that 55 now side by side with the 48. But you could just tell, I think Taylor is just a little bit scared to push that 55. And no wonder. I mean, it's a scary thing to try to push someone, in these trucks.
I think William Mann saw what you were saying because he backed off of the front three. He saw how hard they were pushing there on the outside of the racetrack. Man, they're still just not lining up the bumpers coming through the tri-oval.
That's scary.
So I think that the 29 is just kind of backing off a little bit, like sensing a little bit of danger now at this point. And we're still, I guess we're already 20% of the way through this race, right? This is a pretty quick race. Don't give us a lot of laps to work with. But, man, that outside groove, they're still just not pushing right on the outside of the racetrack. Jason Taylor getting just a little sideways there. James Harris coming down, taking the race lead. But that was nervy moments between the 15 and 55, especially this early in the event.
I really can't blame Harris. I feel like he was, nervous. He probably was nervous looking in that mirror the whole time. I mean, these people, if you're watching, you got to understand it is incredibly hard to line these bumpers up at 180 plus mile an hour. I mean, this is like trying to, what is the movie Star Wars where you're trying to get into the Death Star, that little opening. It's like that when you're going this fast around this racetrack.
That's gonna piss off a lot of people.
Is it?
Not doing a Star Wars reference, or not knowing the Star Wars reference.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I know it's the Death Star, and Luke was trying to shoot the exhaust vent. I know that.
Okay. That wasn't too bad. I was a little nervy there. Just like the racing's got me. I feel like we're bound for a wreck at any moment here. Finishing lap number 10. Coming around turn number 4, James Harris leading the way, getting a push from George Young in the 48 on the inside of the racetrack. Jason Taylor now pushing out to the race lead, getting the lap led that time by on lap number 10. Our race winner from Talladega getting the push from Brian Britt's, not Brian Britt's pick to win. I think it was Derbyshire, our producer's pick to win. Tyler Meeks there on the outside. Meeks looking pretty good. Both of y'all's picks are up at the front, and I'm not really seeing my guy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, that could be a good sign, though. I mean, he might be just trying to stay out of trouble. I mean, to be honest, that'd probably be the smart thing to do. As we see those, I think Meeks almost got clear to the bottom. Here comes Taylor. He moves down in front of Harris. What does Harris do? Looks like Harris is going to be content to push. I think I'd be okay with pushing I think Taylor is good at holding a line to be pushed. I don't think he's so good at pushing. And that's a different skill set to be able to be good at pushing, especially because you have to put so much trust in that guy that's in front of you as we take a look back at the truck bed of Harris. And one thing we haven't really discussed, here goes Harris to the high side. One thing we haven't discussed is visibility in these trucks at tracks like this. I mean, this is, we see some guys kind of dipping down below the apron a little bit. That's the 48 of George Young.
Jeff knows just about sideways down the back straightaway and ended up saving it. I don't know what happened. I looked up and he was fishtailing going down into turn number 3. But it looks like James Harris able to take that race lead back away from Jason Taylor as the outside groove came around to exit of turn number 2. Used that momentum with him. Jumped up to the outside line. Takes the lead away from the 15. And it brings Keegan Sabilo through with him. The 55 jumps down, but the 77 stays up top. 777s leading the outside groove.
777s, how about that? So Bilo, he knew what he needed to do, to stay up there. I think that's the best call. If I was in the shoes of these drivers out here, I would stay up there. That top line is working. Of course, you could always try to revolve and go down to the bottom, but I just feel like it's better to stay up there. It's faster up there. And you can see right there, look at the run that they get up there on that top line.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like they lose too much ground through the corner. And then coming out to the straightaway, it just seems like whoever's second place on the outside groove can get hooked up to the back bumper of the leader on the outside just a little bit better that time through. It kind of looked a little bit better from the inside through the tri-oval, but they didn't gain much. And then the outside is able to just get right back at him coming down into turn 1.
I'll tell you what, they are not leaving a whole lot to chance right here. You see Jay Harris and Sabilo getting door to door, almost touching there. Coming through 1 and 2. Now, one thing we're coming up on quickly, though, is possibly green flag stops. Of course, we're coming up on the start of lap 15. the fuel window is about 30, a little over 30 laps. When do you pit? Do you split the race in half? What do you do?
I feel like they go to at least half, but I honestly think that the best strategy is to wait until it's all the way empty and then just do the auto fuel to get to what you need. And just splash of gas, no tires on the pit stop around lap 30 or so, right? I guess it's not really a splash of gas at that point. You're still taking a good bit of the fuel tank, but I feel like that's probably the best strategy. But I say that. That's what I said yesterday in B Open, and they did the exact opposite. But in A Open, they did exactly what I said. So I really couldn't tell you. It seems to be the different classes here are a little bit different in terms of what strategy seems to be quickest.
I'm surprised we've stayed as clean as we have. I mean, 15 laps into this show already, and they've been staying fairly compact, packed in here like sardines. As Keegan Sabilo gets a massive run into turn 3, and you can see that Meeks getting incredibly loose behind the 77. It looks like he's able to keep it together here. And the bottom line, because of that loose spell that the 7 had, is going to get a little bit more of a run, and they're going to be able to go side by side across the start-finish line. Harris will lead that lap.
Yeah, the inside able to fight back there that lap, but I feel like Tyler Meeks has been really, really solid for the most part. I know he got loose in 3 and 4 there that last lap. May have cost the outside group just a little bit of time, but I feel like he's been super steady at the wheel behind Keegan Sabilo for most of this. And anybody he's been pushing, he has pushed up to the front of the field. So Tyler Meeks is looking really dangerous on the outside groove. We're going to go side by side, take a quick commercial break before the green flag pit stops. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series on iRacing, and they have absolutely exploded at the front of the field. Tyler Meeks has gone from 4th on the outside groove up to the race lead. Keegan Sabilo went down to the inside of the racetrack. You saw it on side by side, gave the outside to Tyler Meeks, and Meeks has found a way through up to the front of the field. Brandon Ball pushing him, but Nathan Myers leading an outside third lane that has formed from just about nothing.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is awesome to watch. I mean, we were treated to quite a show under commercial, as we are still 3 wide. Meyer, of course, I do believe last week's winner, if I'm not mistaken. Fantastic performance from him so far. He has been driving his way to the front. They start to lose momentum. We're going back, I do believe, to double file again. Look at how quickly things can change, Austin. I mean, he went from being up top 3 wide for the lead to now possibly going to fall outside of the top 10.
Yeah, for as quickly as that third line popped up, it vanished just as quickly. I mean, coming through turns 1 and 2, it went from something to absolutely nothing in no time, falling all the way to the back of the pack here on the outside groove. All of a sudden, James Harris making it 3 wide on Tyler Meeks, though, for about 5th place. Oh, he turns Thacker to the outside fence. Tyler Meeks goes around in front of the field. Looks to be about a 4-5 car incident coming down, spinning through the infield grass. We got the 47. A couple fast repairs are going to have to be used here.
Oh, yeah.
Still in the early going, not even halfway through.
Thacker just turned right head on into the outside wall. Big accident there for him. He still stopped, if I'm not mistaken, on the front stretch. James Harris was involved in this. This was quite an accident.
Yeah, that happened. I think it started between James Harris and Brad Thacker there on the inside coming out of turn number 4. They were 3 wide coming out for about 5th place, and it just looked like James might have come down a little early. I think he was trying to find a hole and might have just misjudged it coming off the corner. Well, Thacker came up a little bit too. We might have to get another view.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, Thacker looked like he got a little bit wiggly on the bottom and kind of came up a little bit, but I don't think he moved that much, though. I mean, I think Harris was not giving him a whole lot of room. So we're going to take another look at this, and you can see that Thacker was pretty low, I'd say. I mean, he did come up a little bit, but I guess they were just packed in like sardines that he didn't have enough room to wiggle at all, you know?
Yeah, there definitely wasn't really much room for error, and we're still in lap, 22, so maybe you expect a little bit more room there coming out of the corner, I suppose, but I don't know. You could tell it had been getting racy for a long time. Maybe we can get a better angle this time. I mean, Thacker definitely came up, but he's hugging him pretty tight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I feel like Harris was side drafting him like crazy. I feel like that's a 50-50 in my opinion. I feel like if that was on anybody, it's on both of them.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, it was kind of sudden, so it's tough for James Harris, but he was pinching him. But we're going to use this opportunity, got to point out, our title sponsor, Champion Power Equipment, because this broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champions has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the U.S. for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. Thank you to Champion Power Equipment for sponsoring the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here every Tuesday night. We get the privilege of broadcasting it. I mean, we've had banger after banger, and we have not been slighted here tonight. I mean, this entire first 21 laps there before the caution were pretty entertaining, I gotta say.
Yeah, and I think this second half is going to be just as entertaining. I mean, we have just taken out the option of a green flag stop, I do believe, because now everybody's going to be able to make it on fuel. Now, we, of course, did have some drivers that have used fast repairs. I mean, I know I think the 55, his rear end was missing. He was able to get down, I do believe, and get that truck serviced. He's still on pit lane, actually, right now. Sure what's going on. I think he's actually getting it still repaired. So some drivers elect. I don't think he's taking the fast repair. I think he's trying to just get it repaired and save that repair. That's actually not a bad idea.
Who is that saving the repair?
Harris. I think Harris is on pit road still getting damage repaired. Is he going to go a lap down? That's my wonder here, because he is still on pit road as we speak.
It's kind of surprising, but I think you're right. He's just got a little bit of left rear damage at this point. At least that's what it looks like from here. So
trying to get it fixed. Yeah, I'm surprised.
But it looks like
I mean, it could be a good idea. I mean, just considering, this is not done. There's going to be more accidents.
Yeah, but they can make it to the end on gas, I believe. They're within their fuel window, so everybody came down pit road. Got a couple people got tires, I believe, but most people obviously filling up the tank. making sure they can make it to the finish of this thing, and we can make it. So
Yeah.
not gonna have to worry about those pesky green flag pit stops to split up a pack here tonight. Gonna be a good one to the finish. The last 25 laps or so coming to this restart.
Yeah, we had a fantastic 20 lap run there, green, and I don't know if it's going to be the same here. I think this is going to get a little bit wild and crazy.
Yep, some people still have some faster fares to burn, and I think we're going to be burning them.
I think we're getting ready to have quite a show on our hands here on lap 24.
Are you still liking your pick?
Yeah, no, I'm still going with Harris. I mean, I can't change it. He's probably, I mean, with the way my picks usually work out, he's probably gonna be like, Brian, why did you pick me? Because usually I'm like jinxing them when I pick them.
I'm still liking mine, even though I haven't seen much from Andrew Hale here tonight. He's found himself in 4th place on the outside of his teammate that he pushed to the win at Talladega. I mean, does Jason Taylor owe Andrew Hale a favor here now at Daytona since he got pushed to his first win? Does he repay the favor to the 4? Give the old driver of the 4, Andrew Hale, an opportunity at the end of this thing? Well, teammates are side by side for that second row. I think they got a good chance here to overtake the 77-48.
No, I think it's definitely possible that Hale gets some help there from Taylor. But I got to be honest, and Taylor might hold this against me, but I just don't think Taylor's a great pusher. I just really don't. But, I mean, he has had some practice.
What, Brian?
He's had more practice here, though. I mean, I'm just saying, when we first started seeing him pushing, it just did not look very safe. But hopefully he does better now.
Oh, yeah, it did look sketchy. I'll give you that. You're definitely not wrong. But we're back to the green flag. Keegan Sabilo is the one getting pushed by Jason Taylor. Andrew Hale might have dipped down before the start-finish line. Not quite sure if that's a penalty. I would really be hating my pick if it is. But he gets up to the back bumper of the 48. Really split up here. Completely shattered front of the pack. There's only about 9 cars in the front pack.
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of scattered off in the back.
This is definitely very curious. I'm wondering if guys are just being really careful, if this is these guys are just being cautious. We'll have to wait and see. I saw William Mann Jr. He thought about going up to the top, but has elected to stay on the bottom side. Is getting a huge run. So Taylor seems like he knows what he's doing when it comes to pushing on that bottom. I think it was on the top side. And I kind of can understand why it's hard to push on the top, because you don't have that yellow line to judge where that truck's at.
Yeah, but a lot of times, even whenever you're in the driver's seat, you can't see much of that yellow line.
Yeah,
it doesn't even help you out that much. You just got to follow the truck in front of you and hope that they hold a tight wheel. So, I don't know. We maybe have to have a look back at that to see if maybe the guy he was pushing was a little off and just couldn't hold a line. It could have very well looked that way, because he's looking pretty good behind the 77 at this point.
That's what I'm saying. He's looking a lot more competent right now. So, I think he's going to be – I know Hale's going to be – your pick going to be wanting to try to get with that 15. We'll see if that happens. I know Hale is not seeming like he's really committed to pushing the 48.
Yeah, he's not getting all over the back bumper of them yet, but you got to think there's still a fair amount of time in this thing. He doesn't want to, jeopardize himself in any way. He's got a little bit of an advantage over some guys. He's got the faster pair left. He doesn't want to have to use it unless he absolutely has to towards the end of this thing. So I think he's just being smart, holding on to that thing. Not getting all over the back bumper of the 48, but you don't really have to make up the speed. You can get right just about touching it, not really have to worry too much. A little bit of an air pocket that you can just push against, and it gives him a good jolt down the straightaways and through the corners too. He's just about on that point, just getting a little bit closer to the back bumper. Just a little nudge here or there. That is all it takes. I mean, they're holding pretty steady here with the 77, and they're not pushing too hard on the outside groove.
Yeah, it probably helps him not heat that motor up too much as well. I mean, I know there's a lot of different takes on this, whether, actually physically touching that back bumper is, an efficient way to push that other driver forward, or is it using that air pocket? I've heard a bunch of different takes on that. And our producer, of course, is saying that the air pocket is the more efficient way to do it. So I trust his judgment.
And the trucks, it's looking that way. I mean, the outside groove just looks so good with Andrew Hale just given. Hulawig, I believe, gets turned down to the inside of the racetrack, collects Jeff No, I believe, going down to the infield. Only a 2-car accident, it seems, but tough break for both those guys going down the back straightaway, but I believe they both have their fires to prepare.
Yeah, Jeff No and Hillowig, I do believe, getting involved with one another. I saw it just was an odd incident. We'll see if we can kind of ascertain exactly.
Hulawig, I think, got turned by Harris.
It's hard to see, but it looks like I think it's Hillowig. Look at how fast Hillowig hit that wall. I wouldn't be surprised he doesn't make it back to pit road.
I definitely feel like the first contact came between Hulawig and Harris. I don't know if I can't assign fault from the angle that we've seen so far. Looking at this one, Harris is on the inside. Kind of feel like Hulawig came down.
Harris was there. I mean, even though they were 3 wide, Harris was there, and Hillowig is the one that moved. Yeah. I just don't think Hillowig knew he was there. I really don't think he knew he was there. I think it was just lack of awareness.
When we're getting down to the end of this thing, you got to be a little bit more aggressive. Just maybe a little bit late on the block from Hulawig.
Right here.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely came down. You can see Harris to the inside, even drifting left, trying to give him as much room as possible. At some point, Harris has to stop turning left or get out of the throttle completely.
Look at how hard Hillowig hit that inside wall. I'm wondering if he's going to make it to pit road. I think he did not. I think he's a lap down, so yeah.
Yeah, he is. He has towed, so.
That was such a hard lick. I mean, he was going to had to be, 3 digits when he hit that wall. I mean,
but he should only be 1 lap down. He'll be only car lap down, and I'd be willing to bet we're gonna have 1 more caution at least. So he should get the lucky dog if he gets out of there pretty soon.
Yeah, he's gonna have to hope so. I know he's getting ready to go a 2nd lap down. It looks like we have some takers.
Yeah, a couple drivers coming down pit road. We're going to take this moment to send it to our last commercial break during the action. Stick with us. We're going to get the finish on the other end.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series at the Daytona International Speedway. We've got Keegan Sabilo up front here, coming to 19 laps to go whenever we take the green flag. Jason Taylor on his outside, George Young in third, Andrew Hale on the outside in the second row. Those two are teammates out there on the outside. Look for them to push really, really hard coming to the end of this thing. They were the ones that were the best at that at Talladega. So you got to think. Could lightning strike twice? Jason Taylor's hoping so.
Yeah, that would be something else. I mean, we've been watching Jason Taylor, racing this Champion Series for quite a long time, and to see him, if he gets 2 Super Speedway dubs in one season, that would be quite a spectacular accomplishment, I got to say.
Yeah, and he's got a really good opportunity here with his teammate right behind him. Keegan Sabilo, though, leading us into the restart zone. He takes off, gets a pretty good jump, but I'd be a little worried about that. You don't want to get too far out in front of your pushers back there. The outside line with the two teammates is lined up really, really good going down to the turn 1. Sabilo still does not have any help from the 48 getting down into the corner. I want to say the 4 and the 15 are going to get a heck of a run coming out of turn number 2.
No, I definitely agree. I don't know why Sabilo would try to go early. I mean, of course, Super Speedways, you don't really tend to want to try to jump a start. Now, if you're at another type of track, yeah, you would want to do that, but not here. Not at all. As you can see, the 15 and the 4 getting a fairly solid run. Not as much of a run as I think we probably predicted, but here comes the 11 of Larry Fairman up into the top 5.
Yeah, William Mann Jr. brought 2 or 3 cars behind him on the inside of the racetrack, got up to George Young's bumper through the middle of the back straightaway, and just gave that inside groove enough of a push to keep him ahead, but the outside groove has gotten formed up just as quick, if not just a little bit later. Jason Taylor leading the way, just about shutting the door on Keegan Sabilo, but stays up high with his teammate Andrew Hale. Larry Fairman right behind him. John Thacker, who was in that first accident, has found his way back up into the top 7, looking really strong. 4th place on the outside groove in the 56.
Yeah, definitely glad to see Brad Thacker back in the battle. And, of course, a lot of these guys are don't have a fast repair anymore, so we'll have to see how that kind of works out. But you can definitely tell that dancing partners have been found when it comes to the 4 and the 15. Now, I do believe George Young and Keegan Sabilo have been working together quite a bit in this race as well. So maybe they're dancing together. But look at William Mann Jr. Speaking of dancing down onto the apron there for a moment.
Yeah, it almost looked like William Mann Jr. was thinking about coming down pit road with how far he came down off the racetrack. I thought he was turned down or might have gotten hip checked, but turns out he's just a little wobbly coming out of turn number 4. But I feel like we're going to see a lot of that coming to the end of this thing. 17 laps to go. It's only going to get hairier from here. Jason Taylor leading that charge on the outside of the racetrack, trying to get back by the 77 of Sabilo. Jason Taylor is going to be committed to that outside groove until Andrew Hale gets clear or Andrew Hale is overheating. He's just got to get out of the way for his teammate to breathe some air into that nose. So I think we're going to see the 15 and the 4 dominating that outside groove. Just a big question. Somebody make it 3 wide on them at any point? Do they use that outside of the racetrack? Does the 11 stick it to the outside of the 4? Or are we just going to stay in this 2x2 scenario here until the finish?
I mean, I'm seeing some people that are thinking about it. I mean, you can clearly see James Harris. He kind of dipped out a little bit. He could have been trying to get some air on that nose, but he looks like some of these guys are getting a little bit impatient, wanting to make something happen. But look at all this wiggling. I mean, this is scary. It's looking like an accordion out here when you see, kind of the lines move around, and it's almost like a wave goes through it. Here we go, 3 wide for just a moment as William Mann Jr. makes a move, and it looks like I think Nathan Meyer as well as James Harris have moved to the top 3 wide.
Oh, Andrew Hale just barely cleared Keegan Sabilo. We're having a little bit of issue going through the billboards here on the broadcast. Jason Taylor on the inside now. Him and Andrew Hale were able to cut down. Oh, William Mann Jr. in hard into the wall coming out of turn number 4. Able to bounce back off and save it 3 wide. Cutting down in front of James Harris now in the middle groove. Oh, man, William Mann, I couldn't tell if he's in the middle or the outside groove, kind of causing a little bit. Oh, Brad Thacker hard in the outside wall in front of the 11, spinning in front of the field. Goes down, collects Brandon Ball, Hulawig into the outside wall. Robert Wynn getting through there into 1.
I would assume that might be a blown motor. I don't know. The 11 of Larry Fairman, quite a hard lick on the outside wall. Looks like he might. No, he's still running. But, man, that's going to be bad for Thacker. I think Thacker might be out of fast repairs there, but wow.
Yeah, that's probably going to do it for Thacker. At least take his chances of winning away. That was going to be, or he has used that fast repair, I believe, earlier in the event. Second time we've seen him around in front of the field, looking back at a replay, going down into turn number 1, lap 36 of 50. Thacker just gets turned off the front bumper of Lucido, gets turned into the outside wall in front of the 11. Obviously, Fairman had nowhere to go. Spins back down the racetrack. Yeah, and he'll think Hulawig obviously has already used his fast repair as well. So Hulawig's going to be done with this one. That's going to take out at least 2 competitors here tonight.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, looking back at this, you see, yeah, right there. I would not put that on Lucido, not at all. I feel like clearly Thacker thought he was clear, but was not. There was still just a little bit of front bumper that Lucido had on him, and when he tried to clear himself, a little bit of contact happened, and that's what caused that 56 to start to spin. So I would definitely not put that on the 73.
Yeah, both of them just fighting for the same little bit of real estate here, going down into turn number 1 on lap 36 here, coming down to the end of this thing.
I tell you what it is. I mean, I hate to interrupt you, but I'll tell you what. One thing about these super speedway races, Austin, and I know you probably agree with this. You cannot delay when you make a decision. You do it. You got to do it right then, because if you don't, if you wait just a little split second of a hair of a second, that door's closed. You cannot.
That's honestly a great point. Indecision is so massive at Talladega and Daytona. I mean, making a little bit of a move and faking somebody out's a little bit different, but and you can use it to your advantage. But I'm telling you, if you are just accidental with your movements, you're not intentional, you're going to be going backwards. You're going to get turned head onto the wall. So I got to agree with you 100%, Brian. I mean, indecision is definitely a killer at the super speedways.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what that was. I think Brad went high, then he saw how big the run was coming from Lucido, and he tried to jump back down to cut that off. And you can't do that. I mean, you know, there was too much of a speed difference. So it's just unfortunate to see that. I think that's going to end some races, and it's just, some lessons hopefully learned. Jason Taylor, though, in the lead. How about that? Won at Talladega, in really good position to win here at Daytona. Of course, now Hale is going to be starting on the high side of him here, unless we see some decisions maybe. I don't know. I mean, what do you do here? I mean, because I know there is things you can do to try to, if your teammates, to kind of get lined up. What is the options here for Taylor and Hale?
I imagine their number one option is going to be Jason Taylor's going to count down the restart. They're going to go relatively early, but they're going to both go at the same time, and then Andrew Hale is going to be able to have enough of a hole behind Jason to fit into, and he'll just let off the gas and fall down into that hole. If I had to bet, that was going to be their game plan. At least that's what I would do, because I feel like that lines them back up exactly how they were. Unless they can, I don't remember if they're allowed to pick the outside group. They might be.
I think they are.
Do that. Okay, then never mind. That changes everything. Jason Taylor's just going to take the outside and easily clear his teammate, and then pull over in front of him. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see a good old-fashioned normal teammate restart you see in NASCAR on Sundays.
Well, I think they've done this same thing. I think that's what won Taylor the race at Talladega, was them kind of playing games like, or I wouldn't say playing.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I think that's how they won Talladega, because they were able to kind of play that card. I mean, I might be misremembering. Yeah, I mean, that would not surprise me. I mean, I'm getting old.
I think you're remembering just fine. I think you got it right. I think we're going to see the similar thing right here. We're going to look at Jason Taylor coming across the line. I imagine he has to pick just after.
There he goes. Yeah. He's choosing the high side, clearly.
So Jason Taylor will just dip down to the inside. Sabilo kind of becomes the odd man out. Kind of a weird situation, being the third car on the inside with this. But he'll probably end up getting such a good run through 1 and 2 because the outside line will get broken up without their leader. And Sabilo could find himself with a really good chance to pull high coming out of turn number 2 in front of a line that's got a head of steam and building up at that point. So I would be watching the 77 coming out of turn 2 on the restart.
And I'd be watching the 7. I mean, Tyler Meeks was really, really good behind Sabilo. We remember him. They were really strong together. So, maybe those two work together. Well, I think that's a possibility. The 777.
Sorry, that was a fair point. I mean, they were really, really quick together earlier in the race.
Yeah.
With Tyler Meeks was pushing Sabilo early on the outside groove of the racetrack, and now they're lined up nose to tail on the inside here in the same order. So I think that's a great point. They worked really, really well together. And I think we could see those 7s kind of pop themselves up to the
Yeah.
front, but they're going to have to get past 2 teammates here with Jason Taylor and Andrew Hale that have proven to be a force to be reckoned with at the super speedways, winning Talladega earlier in the year, I believe finishing 1-2, and now running 1-2 here tonight with 11 laps to go in the restart.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this is, seems to be somewhat of a norm for these two. That it's clear, the evidence is clear that they're very talented at these types of tracks. And a lot of people, I go back to saying that people think this is kind of a no-skill type racing. But clearly, the better drivers at super speedways always end up towards the front. So there's got to be some sort of skill involved, right?
A little bit of that and a little bit of having a teammate to take care of you, right? I don't know if anybody else has quite as tight of a teammate relationship as these two here in the league. And it seems to show with Jason Taylor leading the way here, pulling down in front of Andrew Hale on the restart, keeping that lead, keeping the 77 behind. But that inside line's going to be lined up pretty well. Jason Taylor actually dipping out to the outside a little bit. They're maybe trying to break the draft a little bit with the 77, but not really going to work out. 77 is going to be able to get through here on the inside. He's going to be clear into that third place spot. That's what I was talking about. Does he use the run from the outside groove that the 48's sure to get with William Mann Jr. coming with a head of steam?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that maybe Sabilo and Meeks would. Oh,
wow.
Hale ditches the 15. Could this be maybe an attempt to try to control both lanes? I think this could be exactly what he's trying to do, or maybe he wants to get the victory for himself as we come to start 10 laps to go here in just a moment. Taylor right now in the lead.
If it's controlling both lanes, it was going to work last night, but here George Young jumps out to the outside of Andrew Hale, and the 4 car is going to go into the sucker hole, going backwards row by row. Absolutely no help as he gets sucker holed to the back of the pack. Andrew Hale, though, trying to hold strong here, falls back about 4 rows, and that outside line has completely died. William Mann Jr. and George Young going backwards now, and Andrew Hale, with no help at all, is still fighting back for about 5th.
I think this has got something to do, maybe the side draft of the 4 car pulling that top line back or something like that. But this is a scary thing to see these guys three wide like this. I'm a little bit concerned. Hopefully this works out, that no one gets destroyed here. But Taylor right now in the lead. He's got the 77 right behind him. Now the 15 has no friends, I don't believe, up here.
Oh, here comes James Harris looking to the outside. He gets picked up by George Young. Oh, Harris is a little all over the place. Kind of shuffles Young back to a 3-wide situation with William Mann Jr. We've got 3 heavy rows going through 1 and 2. George Young almost came down into the side of Andrew Hale on the inside. The front 4 single file, but everybody on behind that side by side. Oh, now we're side by side for the race lead. Keegan Sabilo, Tyler Meeks going around the outside of the 15. Jason Taylor getting dropped back to the back. He gets picked up by his teammate about 6 or 7 positions back.
EJ DeBoer does not seem like he wants to stay on the bottom. He keeps moving up a little bit, almost tags the 7. But it looks like, yeah, the 7 and the 77 are working together. You can clearly see they are deliberate with what they're doing. James Harris, though, in the middle, getting a huge run with William Mann Jr. right behind him. This is a chaotic mess of trucks right now. This could go wrong at any moment.
Yeah, Mann Jr.'s been trying to make that outside groove work for most of the second half of this thing. Finally got it working over the course of the last couple laps. Now finds himself in the second position on the outside groove, pushing James Harris to the front of the field, coming off of turn number 2, side by side with Keegan Sabilo. The 777s on the inside of the racetrack have worked so well together all night. 8 laps to go, coming to 7 this time by.
And James Harris right now ekes out just ahead of the 77, coming into 3 and 4. They start to fall back just a little bit. Here, can they gather a run on this front stretch to try to lead this lap, or will Sabilo lead this one? Here they come with a run on the front stretch. I think they're going to be able to possibly lead this lap just barely by just, I do believe, a couple thousandths.
Just about a tie. Last time they come by the line, 7 laps to go, 3 thousandths of a second between the front 2. James Harris, Keegan Sabilo side by side for the race lead. James Harris falling back a little bit through 1 and 2, but he's got a bumper full of the 29 of William Mann Jr., giving him a huge shove down the back straightaway to the lead before they get down to turn 3.
And you can see the 29 just all over the 55, trying to they're pretty much connecting and making that one truck. But you can see the 29 dips out a little bit, get a little bit of air on that nose. Now, got to watch that 48 that he does not push the pusher. That was one of the keys to victory, to not kill the field here. And it looks like, oh, they're getting close for the lead again. Harris leads that lap. Well, that was close, as we now have 6 laps to go.
They're leaning on each other for that race lead. I mean, side by side, and it's only a matter of time before we get a third lane cooking. Oh, and as soon as I say it, John Lucido looking to the outside, peeking back down to the middle, not quite ready to do it there on the outside of the 48, but we see people peeking already, trying to see if that outside line's got something. James Harris blocking it all the way to the top. Lucido takes it 3 wide in the middle. Little bit of contact on the bottom of the racetrack. Lucido still sticking it in the inside of the 29. They're 3 wide for fourth.
We've seen this from Lucido before. He will make a hole if he needs to. And look at this. Huge run for the 73 of John Lucido as he gets to the back bumper of the 55. What does he do here? You can see that he is bound and determined. Now 5 laps to go. 3 wide.
James Harris trying to hold on. John Lucido trying to look to his inside. They're still 3 wide. James Harris blocking that middle groove. Goes down. Collects Keegan Sabilo. Jason Taylor all over the back bumper of the 73 coming out of turn number 2. 5 laps to go, 4.5 down the back. James Harris has the lead, but John Lucido's trying to take it from him coming down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that 73 is determined. I mean, I'll tell you, this guy is bold. He has such confidence when it comes to these style of racing. I mean, he is just driving the wheels off that machine as they come into the front stretch. I think Harris really just was scared to be pushed by the 73 because he's so incredibly aggressive around these styles of tracks.
Yeah, I don't think that he's letting off the throttle pedal whatsoever. If you're in front of him, you're just getting a little bonk. But going down to turn 1, still side by side, 4 laps to go. 73 getting a huge push from Jason Taylor. The question is, if somebody peeks out to his outside, how heavy is John going to block? Is he gonna throw a heavy right-hander coming up to the wall? Or is he just going to be committed to that middle line? We've seen different drivers kind of have different strategies whenever they get taken 3 wide. So far, we've seen him kind of be the bull, but if somebody tries to be the bull on him, how's he going to react?
Yeah, that's definitely curious. I don't know. I mean, he's going to have to try to show some sorts of patience. We see some big wiggles going on for that second groove. Oh, there goes Harris. He gets turned, and caution flag is out as Harris just barely misses the inside wall. Wow, he got inches from hitting that inside wall, barely misses it. As what just happened? I think the 77 might have gotten a bad or given a bad bump to the 55. Caution is out, so that's the 55 is still going to be on the lead lap. As we take a look back at this, I think this probably was a bump in the corner, and exactly what it was. This is another no-no. Now, the next gens you can do this. The next gens you can bump in the corner. No in the truck. You cannot do it in the corner in the truck.
Yeah, just a little bit of a, especially a bad situation coming off the corner. Whenever the car is unloading, the car feels its lightest coming off the corner, coming out of the banking, and just having the rear tires jacked up like that.
Do you see how close that was?
And he saved his fast repair, so it really didn't matter. He could have clobbered that and it would have been okay. But how many times are we going to see James Harris lose a race in a heartbreaking fashion this season? It's been tough for the 55 on the racetrack.
You hate it. I mean, he was looking so good too. I mean, and I guarantee you, knowing Sabilo, he's probably kicking himself too. He's probably like, man, why did I bump him right there?
Yeah, for sure. But Sabilo's doing his job, right? He's just trying to get as much of a gap behind or to the drivers behind and keep him and the leader out front. Give himself the best opportunity to pull out on the last lap. Trying to make a last lap pass for the win. Unfortunately, it just went wrong this time. And I've seen a lot of bumper hooking issues this week already. Yeah. So I'm not too surprised to see another one tonight.
Well, and I even kind of, I think, mentioned it a little bit earlier about, when you're in the lead, you're at the mercy of the guy behind you. And now, green, white checker. Pole sitter James Harris now all the way back in 16th. So. Yeah, and we only have 2 opportunities at a green, white checkered. Now Harris should have probably pitted and used that fast repair by this point now. So he should have a brand new truck, but the problem is he's going to be starting 8 rows deep on the outside of the racetrack and have just about no chance. So I kind of feel bad for him, but he's going to have to hope that the whole field just wrecks and he doesn't get in it. I mean, that's pretty much what he's got to hope for.
I think Jason Taylor just lagged out from the top 5.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I see he's having some sort of technical woes, and I do believe
he won Talladega, and he's going to get taken out of it early off of a connection issue. That's sad.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, he's not showing a throughput, but I mean, I'm assuming that he is
There it is.
probably going to go a lap. There he goes. That is unfortunate. Taylor was on a point to get a really good points day here, and that's going to kill his points.
Yeah, I think he was sitting, what, third in the standings? And he's been running good all night and just gets... Oh, that's so heartbreaking for the 15.
Yeah, he's been a top 5 contender. I mean, he's led quite a few laps.
Just about got a top 5 last week at Dover. It fell apart the last couple laps. Still able to hold on to about, what, 7th or 8th. And then obviously a couple weeks ago, winning at Talladega and looking good here tonight. Jason Taylor getting caught out by a little bit of an internet issue tonight. Tough break for the driver of the 15. He's still got his teammate, Andrew Hale, up in 6th place. Our other race picks, Andrew Hale was mine, like I mentioned, up in 6th place. Derbyshire, our producer pick, Tyler Meeks. And Brian Britt, your pick just got spun from the race lead. How's it feel?
Doesn't feel good, but I mean, you know, I'm telling you, Harris is probably going to message me like, man, stop picking me. Stop it. You are bad luck, Brian. That's what he's going to tell me.
Just leave the booger in the nose. Stop picking him.
But, yeah, I mean, one of my picks is going to win one of these days. But, you know, I really hope that he's able to get that truck in victory lane. I think, you know, Cheryl Roberts deserves a win. I know he's probably kicking himself as well, and was hoping to put a good show on in memory of her. He did put a good show on. I got to say, even if he didn't or doesn't win this race, he put a good show on. He should definitely be proud of his performance here tonight.
Yeah, James Harris definitely put on a good show, but still not over yet. We've got a possibility of 2 green-white checkers, so still has a little bit of time to maybe get a little bit of a lucky run here through the pack, see what he can do from the 16th place position. Keegan Sabilo gonna be leading us to the restart zone as soon as that pace car pulls off coming out of turn number 4. Tyler Meeks on the outside of row number 1. EJ DeBoer, haven't really talked too much about him tonight, but he's lining up on the inside of the 2nd row with a chance to win it at the end. John Lucido has come from absolutely BF nowhere and has somehow come up to the front of the pack, just bullying his way through, making room and getting up to the front. Andrew Hale in 5th place, Jeff No in 6th, Nathan Meyer 7th, last week's winner. 8th place is going to be William Mann Jr., Brandon Ball in 9th, and Ray Kinnison in 10th, all with a shot to win this thing. And even the guys behind that, like we mentioned with James Harris, are still in it to win it. 2 green-white checkered attempts.
Yeah, I mean, I think any of these guys could win this thing still. It is anybody's game here, anybody's trophy. It could be. We're getting ready to find out, though, who is going to be able to take it. Do we see a first-time winner? I think this season, the way the trends have been, I think we're going to see another first-time winner here today.
I'm looking at Tyler Meeks on the outside right there, getting a push from John Lucido, but it's going to be Keegan Sabilo bringing us down to the restart zone. Green flags in the air. Sabilo takes off. Not a great push here from EJ DeBoer, but it looks like they're going to be lined up just well enough coming out of the tri-oval. Tyler Meeks just trying to get an idea. Is John Lucido going to work with him, or is he going to take it 3 wide as soon as possible? Oh, Meeks actually ducks down to the inside of the racetrack, gives the outside to John Lucido. They're all over the place on the bottom of the racetrack. Tyler Meeks just about sideways on the apron, but that 73 is now coming on the outside.
I cannot believe he was able to fit down there. And that didn't. Here we go, 3 wide as DeBoer moves to the middle, and it looks like there goes Nathan Meyer. He's shot down onto the apron, into the grass, and into the wall. Green flag still flying, though, as we're side by side for the lead. Yellow flag is out now.
Well, we saw 2 guys get spun to the inside of the racetrack coming down the back straightaway, getting bumper hooked out of nowhere. William Mann Jr. and who was the first one? Just got absolutely sent to the shadow realm off my
Nathan
Meyer. My screen. Yeah, Nathan Meyer. Just last week's winner gets absolutely shipped. Oh, by William Mann Jr. And then William Mann Jr. gets turned right after that. Oh, heavy contact for Nathan Meyer.
Oh yeah.
Man, just misses those tire barriers. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting accident right there. I mean, these guys were just, as soon as the green flag flew, it was chaos. I mean, immediately. I mean, you saw Tyler Meeks. I mean, he just put himself in a... There wasn't enough room for him, but somehow he fitted, and I think that just...
yeah, but it
everybody
hurt him.
saw that. And
he's back to 5th, man. Or maybe, yeah, 5th place, like that. It definitely kicked off what we saw, but I just don't like the move. He could have stayed on the outside and given him a chance. But I feel
I'll
like
tell you who this helped. James Harris. He's up 7th.
What? Well, he's not out of it, I guess.
I mean, he went from 15th
What
to
in
7th.
the world? Okay, James. He got that faster pair and figured things out a little bit. Maybe those new tires are coming in a little bit handier than we figured.
Yeah, looks like we're going to have green-white checkered attempt number 2.
This is the last one, too. If caution comes out, the race is over.
Yeah, I really don't want it to finish that way. I want us to finish this thing under green flag conditions. Because I always feel like, you know, us as commentators and the audience out there get robbed if it finishes under yellow. That just feels like just left with a bad taste in your mouth, right?
Yeah, I can definitely relate with that. It definitely feels bad having that yellow flag come out and end everything. But it wouldn't be the first time it's happened. I mean, it used to be the norm, right, in NASCAR. I mean, it happened just about more often than not. I mean, anytime we had a late caution like that, it seemed like it would the race would end under it. And we still see that in the Indy 500 every now and again. They try really hard to get the race in, but sometimes it doesn't quite work out. Here in NASCAR, it's kind of rare. On the NASCAR side of things, it's kind of rare to end the race under caution these days. Typically takes a spell of darkness, right, to kind of push it into that territory, or a late rain shower. But here on the iRacing service, on the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, only 2 green-white checkered attempts are allowed. And we are about to start our second one, coming to 1 to go under caution.
Yeah, we do have rain coming quickly. I know iRacing posted something today about there being rain added to the service, but I think it's only on road course racing, unfortunately. I'd love to see it at you know, NASCAR, but I don't know how they'd make that work. I really don't know how they'd make that work, especially at Daytona. It just all of a sudden start raining and everybody wrecks. There'd be a lot of mad people.
Our producer wanting us to talk about rain. Yeah, the rain update coming out. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's never gonna come to oval like you were talking about, Brian. It's just not gonna. They might dampen some of the short tracks because that's what we'll run in. But I mean, I think we'll see it in the NASCAR road course races. We'll see that possibility, but it's going to be pretty rare. So I don't really think that we're ever going to get to see the fruits of that. But I think it's awesome what all iRacing is doing, and heck, they're about to bring us a new NASCAR console game that will probably be the first good one in a while. So I think they're doing a lot of service to both the oval and road course fans alike. Just kind of loving what's going on the iRacing service these days.
If I had to broadcast any races that had rain in them, I probably wouldn't have to run the heater. That's for sure. My computer would heat my house for me.
It might be a little difficult to run. That's for sure. Might have to turn some crowds off.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be hot.
Lower our count down to 10.
On the computer.
But again, we won't have to worry about that for the ovals. So we'll be okay. As long as you just stay in the lane and don't go to the road courses, you'll be fine, buddy.
Hey, you want to call it? No.
Do you think anybody's going to be able to stay here on the stars? I don't know.
I think so. I think this is going to be every man for himself. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, these guys want to win. I mean, Champion Power Equipment Truck Series is full of guys that want to win. I mean, nobody in this entire field wants to finish second place. I guarantee that. And you know, it just depends on how much they want it. And I just got a feeling they want it bad, Austin.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I feel like everybody's got to, you know, I mean, Sabilo going for 2 wins in just a handful of weeks here. He won back at Michigan just a couple of weeks ago. He would be the first 2-time winner this season also, right? I mean, he's leading the point standings. That would kind of solidify himself up at the top. I feel like he's got a lot going for him, or a lot that he's racing for. John Lasito going for his first win of the season as well. Lots to race for. Same with EJ DeBoer in the 8. Jeff No in the 1. Tyler Meeks in the 7. Ray Kennison in the 47. And James Harris in the 55. Everybody from second on back to 7th place are all looking for their first win of the season.
I'd be really worried about Batman winning. I mean, he's Batman. I mean, it's hard to beat Batman. Jeff No in the Batman scheme. If anybody,
I was wondering what the hell you were talking about.
You don't clearly see the bat on the front of that car.
I wasn't looking at the nose of that. It was blue, and Batman ain't blue. Either way, the pace car's coming off. 2 laps to go. This is the final green-white checkered attempt. Keegan Sabilo on the inside in the Geico restart zone. Gets a good jump over the 73. That outside line's lined up pretty well, coming through the tri-oval. Andrew Hale jumping down to the inside. The inside line stacking up really well going down to turn 1.
Yep, looks like Hale moving quickly. There goes, who is that? I think that was Harris. It jumps up top with no and the 73. So that's going to make that top line a lot quicker here. Do we make it to the white flag? Everybody's moving to the top. Oh my, this is a mass migration to the top.
Does Lucido stay up top? Does Jeff No jump down to the bottom? Lucido kind of committing to the middle here, keeping Jeff No behind him, coming through 3 and 4. Sabilo fighting back on the inside. Seems like nobody really has any idea what lane they want to be in. Coming off of turn number 4, taking the white flag. Can we get to the white flag before a caution comes out? We're going to get one more time around. Keegan Sabilo, John Lucido on the front row. 1 lap to go.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting. They are going to be fighting tooth and nail on this last lap. Do we see that third lane just generate out of nowhere? I do believe we probably could. This is going to be every man for themselves as we're filing down the backstretch.
Yep, John Lucido trying to take the lead on the outside of Sabilo going down into turn 3. Jeff No all over the back bumper of the 73, trying to make it work through 3 and 4, side by side for the race lead and the win here at Daytona. James Harris trying to make it 3 wide, coming out of turn number 4. The outside line getting scattered a little. John Lucido with a huge run through the middle of the racetrack. The 73 side by side with the 77. John Lucido is going to win it at the line at Daytona.
Wow. John Lucido, 73, able to be, I do believe, our sixth unique winner this season. Wow.
This is about to be the funniest interview I've ever done in my life.
What a win. And I thought Sabilo, coming out of 4, it looked like he had it. But then the bottom line just kind of started to deteriorate for some reason. And Lucido and No were able to work together. And that's going to give that 73 to Dub. I mean, you could just feel the determination that 73 had. Lucido was very much wanting to win this race.
That was a hell of a finish, I got to be honest. That was very clean up front, too. I'll take some wrecking after the finish line, right? I don't mind about that. It ends up being a close race between the 77 and 73 coming to the line. Jeff No giving a huge shove to Lucido coming out of turn number 4. It looked like Sabilo was maybe going to get it coming into the tri-oval. I felt like he had the head of steam. Did Jeff No I think No got one more little bump to Lucido right before the checkered flag and ends up giving the 73 the victory. We're going to send it to our final commercial break. We're going to have an interview with the top 3 here right after the commercial. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. We're going to run through our final race rundown before we get to interviewing our top 3, starting with our 3rd place of Jeff No. But coming through the standings for tonight, John Lucido pulling through with the W, first win on the season. Keegan Sabilo in 2nd, Jeff No in 3rd, Tyler Meeks 4th, Andrew Hale in 5th, James Harris, George Young, Brandon Ball, Ray Kinnison, and EJ DeBoer round out the top 10.
Behrman finishes 11th, Wynn 12th, Thacker 13th, Meyer 14th, Mann Jr. in 15th, Hillowig in 16th, and Jason Taylor rounds out the 17-car field.
Heck of a race we got here tonight. I mean, I gotta say, not really too wrecky. Everybody here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series putting on a good show. allowing us to have an amazing finish coming down to the line, just 16 thousandths of a second into it, which leads us into our post-race interview. I believe we're going to pull up Jeff No, our third place finisher. Jeff, do you have a copy?
What's up, gentlemen?
Man, on that last couple of green-white checkers, what were you thinking? Did you think that you had an opportunity to win this thing, or were you just committed to the back bumper of the 73?
Well, that's crazy, man. I don't, you know, when you get to talk to John, I was basically John's spotter those last 2 laps, man. I was just, you know, trying to tell him what we were doing, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna push the hell out of you. Wherever we finish, and you know, so try to do something, man, coming out of 4, but didn't have any room with the bottom, and then I couldn't tell. I know James got out of line. I really couldn't tell if he had got up on my right rear, and I ain't trying to cause a wreck. I mean, someone's gonna do it at Super Speedway, but you know, we'll take third, man. It's kind of find ourselves in a, you know, points battle here for a decent spot here top of the standing. So we'll take a third place.
Yeah, definitely ends up being a great points night for you in the one machine, coming through, pushing Lucido to the race victory. Like you said, there's not really much else you could have done coming off of turn 4. I mean, it just got all scattered 3 wide. Felt like really you just kind of had no run other than no ability other than to push the 73. Was there anything you could have done before that to maybe put yourself in a position to win this thing, or you just kind of feel like you ended up in the best spot you could have been here at the end?
Honestly, probably the best spot I could be in, man. I got in those first 3 wrecks. I'd saved my fast repair. I think I was about 4.5 minutes of damage fixed on pit road. You know, it's just bad spot each time. So be able to kind of line up there and have an opportunity and miss, you know, kind of those last 2 wrecks. We'll take it, dude.
Well, congrats on the P3. You got any shout outs you can give us here?
Yeah, man, just thanks you guys for, you know, taking the time to do this. I know, you know, time's not free, so I appreciate you guys doing this. Shout out to the league, man. This is a good league that James has. And of course, my sponsor, TJ's Team. I know a lot of people don't know about TJ's Team, but it's a non-profit organization, and it helps families of kids who have cancer. So pediatric cancer patients, helps them pay for their room and board and gas and stuff, so they don't have to worry about it. So go check that out.
One of the best shout outs that we can hear here on the channel. Congratulations once again on your P3 finish, Jeff. Looking forward to talking to you more this year.
Appreciate it, Austin.
All right, that was Jeff No, our third place finisher. Next up, second place. We're going to try to find Keegan Sabilo. I think that, yep, we found him. He's standing by with Brian Britt.
Keegan, what a job for you tonight, man. I mean, you almost went, we're almost the second, or should I say first driver this season to win twice, but you finished second. And you've been in second quite a bit this season. I mean, but it has allowed you to get up into pretty much to be the points leader right now. How are you feeling? Are you happy with second? Did you want to win? What could have been different there?
Yeah, totally my fault tonight. My teammate there at DeBoer in the 8, we had that thing perfect there, and I screwed up out of 4 and just drifted up a little bit too much, and then kind of came back down on him. And if I didn't do that, I think we would have been all set. We're working really well there together. I've been working with him for a long time now, probably over a year now. So we had that thing planned out, and almost was able to get it done tonight. But as much as second sucks, you know, good points day. You know, you never know what you're gonna have coming out of these super speedway races. You could, you know, lead the white flag and end up in the wall and last by the end of it. So just happy with, I guess I'm kind of happy with second, as much as I wanted to win that thing tonight. But yeah, this is the third second place finish this year, so hopefully we can get back to victory lane here next week.
Well, I know, speaking of next week, I mean, we're going to Atlanta, and then after that, I mean, I do believe we're going to be finishing up the season. I mean, you only have 2 more races, if I'm not mistaken. So the season is quickly coming to an end, and you're in the points lead. Does this make you kind of nervous? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we're just gonna take it week by week here. You know, Atlanta is just gonna be another situation kind of like this tonight, where you're gonna have to come out of here with some good points and just kind of have a good finish. And if you can win, it's kind of an extra bonus. But we can just have a good run next week at Atlanta. I think we're gonna, you know, have a shot at Las Vegas for sure. But you know, Andrew's been a tough competitor all year long, and you know, he was just talking to me there after the race, and I'm like, man, we're only still 4 points separated. So yeah, we've been extremely close all season and haven't really been able to separate each other in the points lead. So it's gonna be definitely interesting here these next 2 weeks.
100%. Well, Keegan, who can we give a shout out after your second place finish?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to James Harris. I did not mean to turn him out of 4, just, a mistake by me. I was kind of locked onto him there and trying just to benefit both of us there and push him out a little bit front, and kind of me and him break away a little bit there, and I just flipped him wrong. And so I know, that was not what I was trying to do at all. Just trying to help him and made a mistake there. I know he's mad, and rightfully so, but thank you to you guys at Grid Vision for putting on a great broadcast for us. Been a lot of fun racing with CP the past few weeks. Thank you to Champion Power Equipment and everyone that helps put this show on, to all the sponsors, After Hours Restorations, Sevilla Racing Esports, United States Racing League, Johnson iRacing Team, Admin Box, and thank you to Ed DeBoer tonight, who's working with me, my teammate there, and Tyler Meeks was also a huge help tonight, so thank you to him as well, and we'll see what we got next week.
All right, Keegan, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was Keegan Sabilo, driver of the 77. Next up is our winner, standing by with Austin Edstrom.
John Lucido, do we have a copy?
Yes, sir, you do.
All right, this is probably going to be the most ironic interview I've ever given in my life. But we got to talk about your fantastic moves to get to the race lead. We were picking on you a little bit at Talladega a couple weeks ago for an aggressive move going forward into turn 1. But I felt like it was the same aggression level and type of moves that got you up to the race lead here tonight before those green-white checkers. Just kind of walk us through your moves as you came through the pack, because it seemed like you came out of nowhere and we're all of a sudden on the front row after a couple hard moves.
Yeah, I pretty much started out the night just trying to take it easy, because you're not going to get anywhere at the end of the night if you don't have a clean race car. So I focused on staying back and letting things resolve themselves till about halfway. And after that, I found who I was going to link up with, and ended up finding myself in the right position at the right time. And I can't thank Jeff enough, honestly.
Yeah, it seems anytime we come down to the end of these things, you got to have a teammate, or else you're just kind of going to be left out in the water to dry. I feel like he probably would have left you up high if he wasn't on your team. But you have a teammate behind you, and also we look at Andrew Hale and Jason Taylor at Talladega. That's how they won. Seemed like you kind of got the same thing done tonight with somebody just committed to your back bumper. Did you know on those green-white checkers with him being on your back bumper and committed to that level that you were probably the favorite at that point?
Honestly, I did not. I was kind of concerned about Keegan still being able to get something there.
Well, either way, you're still able to come home with the checkered flag here, starting second on that green-white checkered, able to push through on the outside groove. Are there any shout outs you can give here for the end of this one?
Yeah, first off, I want to give Jeff a shout out, because if it wasn't for him, I honestly wouldn't have been crossing the line where I did tonight. And I want to give you guys a shout out for the broadcast, and Champion for sponsoring the league.
Well, we appreciate you, John, and congratulations on your win here today. 6 different winner. We have not had a repeat winner yet this season. You're able to make us continue that streak. So congratulations. Looking forward to see if we can talk to you later on in the season as well.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was our race winner, John Lucido, making some good moves to get up to the front of the field here late in Daytona, coming across the checkered flag with a push from teammate Jeff No. Great job from both those drivers, being able to finish first and third. Again, ending up adding to our race wins leader sheet here in the early going. Brian, what were your thoughts of that one, man? I mean, I feel like we've just put on 3 straight bangers here to start out the week.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I think that every race we've seen in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series has been absolutely just a classic, instant classic. I tell you, I don't know which race this season has been better, but I'll tell you what, we've been seeing just a lot of parity. I think that's to keep the. I mean, like I even said with Keegan, there's 2 races left after this one. We've had 6. You even said it yourself. 6 unique winners. We have not had a single repeat winner. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out race to the championship.
Yeah, and our two leaders in the championship standings, Keegan Sabilo, Andrew Hale, only finished 3 positions apart from each other. So that lead was, 1 or 2 points coming in. It's leaving at 4 or 5. So even our championship lead did not separate very much, both of them getting top 5 finishes. So just been an incredible couple of races here to start the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series season. We're about halfway through. Second half coming up on deck. I've been Austin Edstrom, standing by with Brian Britt. Austin Derbyshire, as always, does a great job with the cameras behind the booth. We'd like to thank you all for watching here tonight on this Tuesday night, and we'll see you Friday night for the Ryko Performance Friday Night NIS Open Series.